Once upon a midnight dreary, there was a man who insisted he was not mad. He was simply nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous. But why would you think him mad? The disease had sharpened his senses, not dulled them. Above all was his acute hearing. He could hear things in heaven, earth, and even in hell. He lived with an old man whose eye haunted him. It was a pale blue eye with a film over it, like that of a vulture. Whenever it fell upon him, his blood ran cold. He had no ill will towards the old man, but that eye, oh, that eye! It was the eye that drove him to madness, to the point where he decided it must be destroyed. Every night, at midnight, he would sneak into the old man's room. He was careful, oh so careful, to not wake him. For 7 nights he watched the old man sleep, but the eye was always closed, and thus he could not do the deed. On the 8th night, however, the old man stirred in his sleep, and the eye opened. The pale blue eye stared at him, and his fury grew. With a sudden burst of courage, he leapt into the room and smothered the old man with his own bed. The deed was done. The eye would trouble him no more. He dismembered the body and hid it beneath the floorboards, confident that no one would ever discover his dark secret. Days passed, and he felt triumphant. But then the police came, alerted by a neighbour who had heard a scream. He welcomed them in, sure of his cleverness. He led them through the house, even to the old man's room, and invited them to sit and chat. He placed his chair right above the hidden body, feeling smug. But then he heard it. A low, dull, quick sound, like a watch enveloped in cotton. It grew louder and louder, pounding in his ears. It was the old man's heart beating beneath the floorboards. The sound grew unbearable, driving him to the brink of insanity. He could bear it no longer. "I admit the deed," he shrieked. "Tear up the planks! Hear, hear! It is the beating of his hideous heart!"